Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered when the glow started to fade? The sparkle in your eyes, the bounce in your step, that natural vibrancy you once took for granted? For many of us, crossing 60 brings a quiet shift. It's not always dramatic. It starts with subtle things. Feeling tired, even after a full night's sleep. Joints a little stiffer. Digestion not quite what it used to be. And somehow, the foods you've always loved don't love you back anymore. It can feel like your body is betraying you. But what if it isn't? What if it's simply asking, gently, urgently, for a different kind of nourishment? Meet Margaret. She's 64. Used to be a teacher, retired early. Spent years caring for her family, always putting others first. One day, sitting in her kitchen after lunch, she looked down at her plate, half a sandwich, a cup of coffee, a handful of chips, and realized she was running on autopilot. Not just in her meals, but in her life. She'd been eating the same way for decades. Whatever was quick. Whatever was easy. Whatever kept her moving. But she wasn't moving anymore. Not like she used to. She woke up tired. She napped during the day. She skipped meals or ate too much of the wrong things. She blamed it on age. Until her doctor said something that changed her life: your body's not falling apart. It's just running on the wrong fuel. That was Margaret's wake-up call. And maybe, this video is yours. Because aging doesn't have to mean fading. What if it could mean flourishing instead? Here's the truth no one tells us: after 60, your body becomes more sensitive, not just to time, but to what you put into it. Every bite matters more. Every meal can either drain you, or restore you. And no, this isn't about dieting. It's not about counting calories or banning all your favorite treats. It's about intention. That supports your memory, your bones, your heart, your joy. So what does that meal plan look like? Margaret started simple. She added one thing first: a real breakfast. No more just coffee and toast. She began her mornings with protein, eggs or Greek yogurt, a handful of berries, a sprinkle of flax seeds, a glass of water with lemon. She didn't just feel full. She felt awake. Then came lunch, no more skipping or snacking on whatever was lying around. She prepped bowls with leafy greens, grilled salmon or beans, a drizzle of olive oil, a slice of avocado. It looked beautiful, and she started to feel beautiful, too. Dinner was lighter, easier to digest. Warm soups, roasted vegetables, a small portion of brown rice or sweet potato. She slept better. Her mood lifted. Her joints ached less. Even her skin started to glow. You see, this is what radiant aging looks like: not expensive creams or supplements. Not miracle pills. But real, simple food, chosen with care, eaten with love. And the best part? It's never too late to start. In the next part, we'll break it all down. White heavy checkmark: the exact foods that fuel vibrant energy after 60. White heavy checkmark: how to combine meals for balance and long-lasting satisfaction. White heavy checkmark: and small daily habits that turn eating into healing, because radiant aging isn't a mystery. It's a choice. And it begins with your next meal. Margaret didn't change everything overnight. She started with one small shift. And then, another. And suddenly, life began to taste different. So, what exactly did she add to her plate? Let's walk through the secret ingredients of a radiant aging meal plan, each one carefully chosen to nourish your heart, your mind, and your body after 60. Leafy green 1. Leafy greens, the gentle giants. Spinach, kale, arugula, Swiss chard. They may seem simple, even bland. But leafy greens are like quiet guardians. Rich in folate, vitamin K, calcium, and antioxidants, they protect your brain, bones, and heart. Margaret made it a rule: one handful with every meal. In omelets. In smoothies. Tossed into soups. Lightly sautéed with olive oil. They added color to her plate. And life to her day. My brain fog disappeared, she said. I felt sharper. More present. Like someone had opened a window in my mind. Fish too. Fatty fish, food for the soul and brain. Salmon. Mackerel. Sardines. These aren't just protein sources. They're medicine for your memory. Packed with omega-3s, they reduce inflammation, support heart health, and guard against cognitive decline, something many over 60 quietly fear. Margaret had fish 2 to 3 times a week. Grilled. Baked. Sometimes canned in olive oil when she was tired. Each bite felt like fuel, not just for her body, but for her joy. 3. Berries, tiny, powerful antioxidant bombs. Blueberries. Raspberries. Blackberries. These little fruits are loaded with polyphenol, natural compounds that protect your cells from aging. They support memory, stabilize blood sugar, and even brighten your skin. Margaret made a ritual of it, a small bowl of berries in the afternoon instead of reaching for cookies. It gave her a sweet moment of pleasure, without the crash. Peanuts 4. Nuts and seeds, crunchy wisdom walnuts. Almonds. Chia seeds. Flax seeds. A small handful a day brought Margaret healthy fats, fiber, and minerals like magnesium and zinc. These are critical for mood stability, bone health, and muscle recovery. But here's the secret: she soaked her almonds overnight. It made them easier to digest and unlocked more nutrients. She sprinkled ground flax seeds into her oatmeal. Added chia to her smoothies. Tiny changes. Massive results. I didn't just feel better. I felt stronger. Like my body was saying thank you. Avocado 5. Healthy fats, not the enemy, but the elixir. Gone are the days when fat was the villain. Now, we understand, the right fats are healing. They protect your brain, your joints, and your skin. Margaret embraced olive oil like a sacred gift. She drizzled it on salads. On steamed veggies. Sometimes even a teaspoon first thing in the morning. Avocados, too, became a staple, half of one mashed onto toast with lemon and herbs. The result? Radiant skin. Stable mood. Deep satisfaction from her meals. Roasted sweet potato 6. Complex carbs, gentle energy. Sweet potatoes. Quinoa. Brown rice. Oats. Margaret learned to swap out the white stuff, white bread, white rice, for grains and roots that nourish instead of spike. Sweet potatoes became her favorite. Roasted with cinnamon. Mashed with olive oil. Added to bowls with greens and beans. They grounded her meals. They gave her energy. And most importantly, they were delicious. Teacup without handle bonus. Healing drinks. Margaret didn't just change her food. She changed what she sipped. Herbal teas like ginger and peppermint helped soothe digestion. Droplet warm water with lemon in the morning woke up her system. Glass of milk. A small cup of golden milk, turmeric, almond milk, cinnamon, became her evening ritual. No more soda. No more 3 cups of coffee. Just slow, soothing sips that made her feel whole. Green salad. Putting it all together, the healing plate. Here's the blueprint Margaret followed. White heavy checkmark. Protein at every meal, eggs, fish, beans. White heavy checkmark. Healthy fats, olive oil, seeds, avocado. White heavy checkmark. Leafy greens plus colorful veggies. White heavy checkmark. A gentle carb, quinoa, sweet potato. White heavy checkmark. A flavor enhancer, herbs, lemon, garlic, spices. White heavy checkmark. One joyful addition, berries, dark chocolate square, or a spoon of yogurt. It wasn't fancy. It wasn't perfect. But it was intentional. And that changed everything. Red heart. The ripple effect. Something beautiful happened. Margaret's energy returned. But so did her confidence. Her laughter. Her desire to get out into the world again. She started walking every morning. She called old friends. She even took a dance class at her community center. And it all began with food. I'm not trying to be 30 again, she smiled. I just want to feel alive. And now, I do. In the final part, we'll explore Glowing Star, the emotional connection between food and self-worth. Glowing Star, how to stay consistent without guilt or perfection. Glowing Star, and how to turn this meal plan into a lifestyle of joy and radiant aging, because the secret isn't in the food alone. It's in the way we choose to nourish our entire being. Margaret once believed food was just about survival. You eat to get through the day. You eat what's quick. What's familiar. And as you age, maybe you start to believe you deserve less pleasure, not more. But something shifted. Because for the first time in decades, Margaret didn't just feed her body, she began to nourish her life. Speech balloon. The truth no one talks about after 60. We often hear, you're just getting older. Fatigue is normal. Losing muscle? That's aging. Feeling unmotivated? It happens to everyone. But that narrative, it's dangerous. Because it convinces you to settle. To stop reaching for vibrancy. To forget that joy, energy, and confidence are not exclusive to youth. Margaret refused to believe it. And when she started feeding herself with love and intention, her world opened back up. Brain food is emotional. Let's be honest. Food isn't just fuel. It's tied to memory, comfort, identity. For Margaret, toast with butter reminded her of her mother. Warm soup made her feel safe. Baking cookies brought back the giggles of her children in the kitchen. So when she changed her meal plan, it wasn't just about nutrients. It was about rebuilding her relationship with herself. I stopped seeing food as punishment, she said. And started seeing it as love. She gave herself permission to enjoy the process, to savor, not rush. To celebrate progress, not perfection. Stop sign. The guilt trap, and how she escaped it. At first, Margaret stumbled. She skipped meals. Overate sweets on stressful days. Felt like a failure when she didn't cook from scratch. But then she reminded herself, I am not a diet. I am a life. And I deserve compassion. She stopped counting calories. Started listening to her body. Stopped punishing herself for a piece of cake, and learned to enjoy it mindfully. That mindset shift? It freed her. Seedling the morning that changed everything. One morning, Margaret sat down with her tea and journal. She wrote one sentence: what does my body need from me today? Not what the internet says. Not what someone else is doing. Just her own wisdom. That single question became a daily practice. And it reconnected her with her body's rhythm, her hunger, her desires. She stopped eating by the clock. She stopped feeling shame around food. She started to trust herself again. Puzzle piece: the secret to long-term success, simplicity plus ritual. Margaret didn't need fancy ingredients. Or perfect meal prep. Or a 12-step diet plan. She built her day around simple rituals: sun with face morning, warm lemon water plus protein-rich breakfast, fork and knife with plate lunch, a rainbow plate, leafy greens, protein, a healthy fat. Crescent moon evening, a lighter meal with calming tea, no late-night snacks, folded hands weekly, one new recipe to try. Just for fun. And most of all, she ate slowly. With music. Or sunlight. Or gratitude. It wasn't just what I ate, she said. It was how I ate, with love. Footprints: tiny steps create lifelong change. You don't need to change your whole life today. Maybe you start by adding a handful of spinach to your eggs. Swapping soda for herbal tea. Taking one walk after dinner instead of sitting. Small choices. Made daily. That slowly build a beautiful, energized life. Margaret didn't chase perfection. She chose presence. Sparkles from food to freedom. One afternoon, Margaret stood in front of the mirror. She wasn't the size she was at 30. Her hair was thinner. Her joints ached some days. But her eyes sparkled. Her laugh was louder. Her step, lighter. Her spirit, alive. I don't need to be younger, she whispered. I just need to be well. And I am. She fed her body what it needed. She honored her hunger and her joy. She found freedom, not in restriction, but in nourishment. Sparkling heart: your turn if you're over 60 and feel tired, heavy, unmotivated. Know this: you are not broken. You are not too old. And you are not alone. There is power in your plate. Not just to heal your body, but to reconnect you with the most radiant version of yourself. Start small. Start today. Start with love. Because aging doesn't have to mean fading. It can mean becoming more vibrant than ever.